Queen City News is your local election headquarters. Polls are back open this morning in Mecklenburg County for the Republican primary runoff. This is for GOP candidates for North Carolina Lieutenant Governor and Auditor. There are 6 voting sites in Mecklenburg County. They'll be open each day from 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. except on weekends. On May 11th, which is the last day of early voting, polls will close at 3 p.m. Election Day. May 14th, only Republicans and unaffiliated voters who voted in the first Republican primary or did not vote at all can cast a ballot. All voters will also have to show a valid photo ID. And this morning, we're getting our first look at new poll numbers released about 2 hours ago, focused on swing states from the Hill and Emerson College. North Carolina voters were asked who they would vote for in a matchup between Donald Trump and President Joe Biden. 47.4% said Trump, 42.2% said Joe Biden, 10.4% say they are still undecided. Voters were also asked about the race for governor between Democrat Josh Stein and Republican Mark Robinson. When asked who they would vote for at this time, 41.4% said Stein, but 41.8% said Robinson. 11.9% said they were undecided. 4.9% said they would vote for somebody else. When asked what they think the most important issue is facing North Carolina this year, this is what voters said. 37.6% said the economy. 10.3% said health care. 9.7% said housing affordability. 9.4% said education. And joining us now to help break all of these numbers down, Dr. Susan Roberts, a professor at Davidson College. Dr. Roberts, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning.
Thank you.
Well, let's start here. Obviously, we're still far out from the election. We know that these numbers will change before we get to November. But starting here, Donald Trump leading in 7 of the swing states, still within the margin of error. But what do you make of that?
I think they're pretty premature at this point. They did note in their poll that these numbers were similar to those they tracked in November of last year. And so I think it shows some consistency. It's remarkable how similar all the 6 states were. And as you might point out in a moment, they're similar in terms of when they asked voters if there was a third party, if the independents voted, all these issues if they came up. And I think that the one that's most telling is what would happen with a third party in the race. And indeed, it hurts the Democrats much more than the Republicans. There's about a 8 or 9 point difference.
Were you shocked at that at all? Because Robert F. Kennedy looking like he could be that third-party candidate there. Some of his policies when it comes to vaccines, more similar to Donald Trump, but he would pull more from Biden. What did you make of that? Were you surprised at all to see that?
I wasn't so surprised. I think Democrats need to be taking this seriously. I don't know if they've anticipated how they're going to respond in terms of issues or image. I will say that the polling numbers suggest they reflect in a way with what the Republicans and the Democrats are doing. Last time around, Biden did not, COVID era, did not visit the state. And there was a complaint about that. Now he's all over the state. If you look at, which I did this morning, Vice President Harris is on this economic tour to tout what the administration has done for the economy. And she has visited almost all of the swing states. And I don't know the listing on the others. But that's what they want to remind voters of is the economy. It's not officially a campaign stop, but that's pretty transparent.
Yeah, obviously the economy going to play a huge role there. Looking ahead, one of the things that also stood out to me that most people said what's going on with Trump and his legal challenges, and we've heard this, not going to really change their opinion regardless of the outcome.
No, that's the case. They really had no impact on their vote. And I think that that's telling too. And Trump has not been out on the trail, and Biden has. I think also Harris has been in states, and these are really campaign stops, and that's on access to abortion. It shouldn't surprise us because Joe Biden's State of the Union was, in many respects, it was a campaign litany, and I think that this doesn't measure the enthusiasm gap. You know, where's the enthusiasm? They're almost similar in terms of the numbers. But I think they can change dramatically, that October surprise and some other issues.
And Dr. Roberts, we are short on time, but I do want to ask you when it comes to the race for governor between Mark Robinson and Josh Stein, a razor-thin margin right there between those two. Robinson getting a little bit of a boost from Trump's endorsement, but how close is this race going to be?
I think it's going to be very close, and I think a lot of it depends on how Donald Trump does in North Carolina. The efforts to tie the two together, I think they'll help Robinson and not hurt him.